This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You are always scum. Rebel scum.
James, I was going to save this for the news, but it's too delicious. It's not really something that just came out. I think it's been around for a bit. But there is a story about Hondo having a Porg friend.
That's a comic.
Apparently it came out. It was these junior books that came out when Galaxy's Edge came out at Disney World. Just sort of go along with it, and Hondo is a part of that world now. And apparently they had a bunch of books, and it's Hondo apparently interacting with Chewbacca during the Last Jedi era. And he's like, I need to borrow the Millennium Falcon, right? Some whatever. And he's being chased by some other bounty hunter or whatever. And Hondo's telling him these stories. And apparently the third story is about him and this Porg that he meets when he borrows the Millennium Falcon. I got it right here. The Porg is named Puffy the Porg in the story Attack of the Porgs. Hondo finagles a deal where he can borrow the Falcon for a time. During his repairs, Hondo encounters the Porgs who have settled on the ship. One Porg in particular continuously steals food from Hondo, including puff cubes, which lead Hondo to giving him the name Puffy. During his time with the Falcon, Hondo is captured by another pirate, Trunk Addermush. Hondo uses food cubes as an incentive to get Puffy to press the correct buttons to free him. After Puffy succeeds, the Porgs continue to aid Hondo in his escape. While their methods are not the cleanest, Hondo basically weaponizes their excrement. The Porgs do succeed in fending off Trunk long enough for them to escape with Hondo on the Falcon. And then Star Wars Adventures Flight of the Falcon, standalone issue of the Star Wars Adventures comic series, confirmed that Puffy does exist. Hondo's fondness for Puffy is clear throughout the issue, and Hondo proclaims that Puffy is his lucky charm. Thus, Puffy the Porg becomes a pirate, even if the circumstances lead to his new life might be slightly embellished. That's a thing.
Okay, so we need to talk about this for a minute, because I think this is actually an old story, but it's one that we've clearly never read because we're fake fans. # fake fan.
Yeah, hashtag fake fan.
We talked about this the last 3 weeks because we both love Hondo, not as much as our good friend Dan Allen who does, but we both love Hondo. And we were like, is he alive after the sequel trilogy? And clearly he is, because the Porgs aren't on the ship until after. So Hondo is alive and well. And this is exciting news because the Hondo... Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, but Hondo will be played by Brie Larson in the Kathleen Kennedy directed film Hondo and RJ. That's Rian Johnson. Hondo and Rian Johnson's Magic Ride. It's going to be phenomenal. But that's cool because Hondo's is at Galaxy's Edge, and now people who don't know Hondo are there, and that's why I really think it's crucial for him to appear in the Mandalorian. I know Bad Batch I would love, but in the Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett would be really fun to see Hondo in there. But I think it's almost crucial to get him in one of these things because he is. It brings him to the next step of Star Wars fandom where people will go there and be like, I don't know who that is because they don't watch Clone Wars or Rebels. But now you put him in live action, people are like, oh, that's that guy from the Mandalorian show. I'm excited. Boom.
Podcast. I'm Brock. This is
ignoring you, James.
Boom. Episode, what is this? 220?
220, 220, 222. We should have a big, that's our birthday week. We should have a big party for the triple twos. Are triple twos big in Star Wars? They are, right? That's a Sabacc win, I think. I just made that up. I don't know. Are there even numbers in Sabak? I've never played Sabak. I don't live in a galaxy far, far away. I barely play. What's the one that you guys play? Bridge? No, is it Bridge? Euchre. I don't know what Euchre is. Full disclosure, I only know how to play Scopa and Briscola. That's the only two games and cards I know how to use a different deck completely. I didn't grow up playing cards, except for like Go Fish and Crazy Eights. I don't know how to do anything else with playing cards. I just learned poker. I'm not even joking. I didn't grow up playing this. I grew up playing the other games, and so you guys are like,
I can't even shuffle a deck of cards. Like the amount of like euchre playing that goes on in my family, couldn't shuffle cards if it like.
We should have a shuffle off. I remember on New Year's Eve a few years ago, we were at, I think my sister-in-law's, and you guys all played euchre, and you're like, sit down. I was like, I don't know where we're starting. And Aaron said it's the exact same as one of the games that I played, but I just couldn't comprehend it. And you guys all seem to really enjoy it, and that's what counts.
It's fun, but it is hard, and it's just like it's not fun if you play with people that are good at it, because they like can do the odds of what is in the hand without seeing half the hands. It's just like, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, I tend not to play card games.
Yeah. And card games are a thing of the past.
And this is the Card Game Podcast. Are they a thing of the past? Well, I guess you can't touch it. That's disgusting.
How do we get on this?
I don't.
But
Sabak, Hondo.
Going back to 220. Yeah, that's right. I think episode 227 should be a 227 Star Wars crossover. The show 227. I will dress like Jack A. We'll do it on a stoop. You'll sit on the stoop, and I'll hang out the window and talk.
What? What's a 227?
227 is a show from like the 80s. It's like these people live in an apartment building called 227.
I'm gonna Google it because I'm in. Can I wear a windbreaker?
No, I don't think that's right. Maybe it's 70s. I can't remember. But I watched it. Do you know that the actress Jack A? That was like her big claim to fame before being like the mom on Sister Sister.
Okay, sure. No, I do.
You've probably seen it in pop culture because it's like the running thing is like the women of the apartment or just people in the apartment, but like the main cast was mostly women. Like the wives are tenants, the female tenants, and it would meet and talk outside the building. So they would sit on the stoop, and then I think the older woman
227.
Yeah. We are dating ourselves.
I know this show. 1985 to 90.
Okay, yeah. 70s seemed too
Regina King.
But I don't know if Regina King. That's right. That was like one of her first roles. She's like the daughter. Mm-hmm. That's how old.
Yeah, I know this show. Yeah. Not well, clearly.
On CFMT.
That's I believe that CFMT was Channel 47 came before, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no Canadians from Ontario listening to this show right now. They don't know what we're talking about.
Oh, absolutely. It's not even like that's not a Canadian thing. That's a regional thing.
I know. That's like it's like you got to be zeroed into like that. I had a UHF TV and I used to go channel 47 4, and then. Yeah, and then when I had cable, I use the other one to go to 4. It was a lot easier to go to 4 than 47. Those dials, man, the amount of numbers on those dials. That was a wood-paneled television, 13-inch TV from Eaton's. It's another Canadian store that's been gone for like 30 years now. But that was my Nintendo. That was my TV that my parents let me put in my bedroom, and I had my Nintendo in there. I used to find. I used to watch Married with Children. I wasn't allowed to, but it was like Sunday nights I would shut my door and put on Married with Children. I would laugh I was like 10, laughing my ass off at Married with Children. And then I think they found out that I was watching it and they let me watch it with them, and they'd be like, "Go! You can't watch that." And then that's how I found Seinfeld too. I got Seinfeld like very early on.
Yeah.
I was not allowed to watch those, but I did. And now here we are talking Star Wars. So.
Boom. Get them when they're young. What's our topic?
I don't really know. So Mando season 3, I don't know if you saw this, but there's something floating around. I've seen like a snippet of it where I think it's Ewan McGregor talking to Pedro Pascal, and he says Pedro Pascal does announce that they haven't started season 3 of The Mandalorian yet. And I'm very curious what season 3 of The Mandalorian is. Is this on the rundown? I might be making this up. I don't know. I'm curious what season 3 of The Mandalorian is going to be because of how final most of season 2 felt in a lot of. Now, there's a lot of unanswered questions. I'm not saying that, but with the Baby Yoda aspect of it specifically, the Grogu, if you will, specifically, it feels very fine. I mean, there's the argument that he's coming back, and I was like, if you don't think he's coming back, you're stupid. But that's fine. But it still feels final. Like if they were like, well, we're not doing any more, I think you would kind of be okay with him getting killed at his temple later on. So season 3 hasn't started yet. Book of Boba Fett's, I think it's wrapped, and then the Cassian Andor show is like in the groove. They're shooting that right now. I don't know if you've seen all the casting leaks and rumors that have popped out, but some deceased characters from Rogue One are returning to the world. So it all is that in the news probably, but it all is making it makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm getting very excited because I see Marvel stuff always coming now. It's like Marvel.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo's with She-Hulk, and it's like, what? This is cool. But like now it's like Star Wars is slowly but surely coming, and it seems like Andor, Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan are going to be like this. Are going to be like the WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Loki 1, 2, 3 punch that Marvel had.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, it would be kind of neat, like, if, like, this year was all Marvel stuff, and then next year is a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff, you know what I mean? And so, what was I going to say? Shoot. In regards to Mandalorian, I saw an article where it's like, this could be the new threat. And it was just, and I was like, oh, so I looked, and it's like, of course, it's like, some like game, some Star Wars game I've never heard of, and it's like, this is Crime Syndicate. I'm like,
I saw that article too.
Sure, that's just like
I think that article, what it's looking at is the Dark Troopers and taking basically what they're doing, and it's very smart on their point, is it's clearly clickbait, but it's also like retroactive clickbait 6-7 a year from now, right? Well, we did that article and we told you it was good. Like, if it pans out, because what they're doing is they're taking a very less known aspect of Star Wars that Dave Filoni would probably pull from. Like someone like that, Favreau, Filoni would pull from something like that. The story group, somebody would pull from it. That's what I think that's all it is. It's clickbait, and then it's in 6 months and you're like, look what we did. And if it doesn't pan out, you just kind of let that article because people still click on it.
But going back to what you were saying about the finite end of that story of Mandalorian season 2, like, I don't agree, but that's because I'm so shaped that like nobody's ever really dead in any of these things anymore, or gone for anything, because everyone loves us. Like, oh, he's back. But like, it would be a baller move if they just like, that is the end of Grogu. Maybe in like 20 years he'll pop up in something as an adult or something like that. That'd be cool. And it makes me think of like, it would be cool if Grogu was like the wild kid from Road Warrior, where it turns out the very end he's been narrating the whole thing.
No, I don't think he's gone either necessarily. I just think the way it goes though is it very well could be done, is what I'm saying.
But like it would be so good, like the mystique that has always been the Yoda character, where he's like, okay, here's a little bit more information on it, but you're not gonna get all of it, and that's it. And I'm like, that'd be sweet. That'd be awesome, because it's like you kind of create demand on this character, and you don't want to overdo it, because it's like, do we still talk about Baby Groot? Nah. Do we talk about Groot at all?
No, I think Teenage Groot was off-putting. No one needed to see Teenage Groot.
I mean, it might change when we get Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but like, that character completely falls off. Like, is he in Endgame?
I believe so.
Like, the last big thing with Groot is like the part in Infinity War where like he's like, I am Groot. It's like, I am Steve Rogers, and I feel like that's the end of it.
Oh, that was a great moment. I forgot about that. That's actually a really good moment.
Yeah, exactly. But like, And, so he could for sure come back, but you know what I mean? Like,
you know, my I love Baby Yoda, I love Grogu. I would love him if he comes back, but I still feel like you let him go, and even if he's not even in season 3, I'm like, if he comes back in 4, fine.
yeah.
I mean, I don't look, and obviously I don't know what season 3 would even be about. So if season 3 is about Grogu completely, then obviously you can't. But the way season 2 ended, Grogu's arc went this way, Mando's went that way. We're following, the show's called The Mandalorian. We're following that one, and all we need to know is that this child that he's been protecting for 2 years, trying to find where he belongs for 2 years, is now where he belongs, and that's all we need to know. So his story in that show, in that series, is over. ... for now, because we've got to go follow Mando, who's still he's on the same journey as Grogu, but he's doing it himself, and now he's found his people, and now he is potentially the leader of his people, and you know he probably does not want that burden.
Yeah, like it's just like the Dark Saber.
Dark. One of them's mentioned in Rogue One, and it's not. And I always confuse them, and that movie messed me up. But Dark Saber,
like that Dark Saber, that could be the storyline for 2 seasons, easy. That alone, easy. Like really, like it's because the way they do their stuff, it's always like it's a slow burn to things or whatever. Like they could make that, and then because like with the Dark Saber. You just rope in this whole idea of Mandalorians, like that is 2 seasons, no problem. And then on top of it, we have this Mandoverse with Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka. So it's like in between that, you intermingle those things together. I that's what they say. Like they're all going to kind of connect in some way. I don't know if it'll be like a crossover sort of thing with like the Arrowverse, you know, where they do like an event episode once a season.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be separate, but they take place in the same period in time. I think that I don't know. Again, I don't know, but I have this feeling like we've got the crossover. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it all ends with them fighting Thrawn. There is a rumor that Mando season 3 is a time jump.
Oh.
Now this could be interesting, intriguing. If there is a time jump, think about this. What if the time jump is long enough where we're now in pre-sequel trilogy era, just before Force Awakens, and Mando goes to rescue Grogu, who is at Luke's Academy, which is about to be destroyed by I know the comic says it's not Kylo, but for argument's sake we'll just say Kylo. Like, but what if there's like that moment? Like, how nuts would that? I don't think it's gonna happen, but how nuts would that be if that's where the story is taking us?
I think it's like you maybe don't make it the main focus.
No, definitely not. It's one of his side projects where yes.
Like it's just maybe the 6th and 7th episode of the last season is just like, this is what it looks like from this angle. You're like, whoa. So like, that'd be genius. Like, cause it's like Mandalorian's 5 or 6 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
It's like 5 and 10 years or whatever. So like 10 years. Oh, like I don't like. I'm all for like not giving us any information on what Yoda's and Grogu's species is or explaining.
Absolutely.
Like this, if he's been around for 50 years, why can't he talk? Why does he seem like a baby? Man, there's so much to be done. But yeah, like it's crazy to think that like. Yeah, we could speculate on anything, and we just criticized a website for speculating on whatever. But like after season 2 of Mandalorian, it's like anything's possible.
Mm-hmm. I see. We criticized the website, but I think it was a brilliant move on their part. And the one thing that website did, though, I think that we both have to acknowledge is that it was, as much as it is clickbait and all that stuff, it was fun though. It's a fun clickbait. It's not bashing Brie Larson or KK. That's Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it was like, hey, here's who could be the villain. Well, probably not, but cool. Good on you for digging that deep and, having fun talking Star Wars without needing it. So I think that's something that we
But
could
after
take away.
a season where, like, you put Bo-Katan in live action, you put Ahsoka in live action, and you brought Luke back.
And Dark Troopers, which are more exciting than Luke.
And Dark Troopers, yes. And then a brief hint of, like, oh, here's something about Snoke. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah. They did so much and they did so much unexpectedly, because the first season doesn't. I mean, the first season kind of teases Boba Fett. Argue like a little.
Oh yeah, Boba Fett. What
yeah, and Fennec Shand came back. The first season does whatever, and then the second season, it was kind of like, okay, like the first season, I feel like that was Favreau's show. Like, he's like, this is my show. This is what I want to do. And then the second season was Favreau being like, this is our sandbox. Let's have fun. And he blew the doors open. And, he let the kids play. And it's funny. They just did Marvel Avengers Campus at Disney.
Oh, I know.
And Favreau, of course, is there. And I'm like, this freaking guy, man. Like, I think Favreau, though, I don't think he's similar. I don't know if he's much like George Lucas in a lot of ways, but he's passionate, and he loves the properties that every movie he's done, Swingers to Iron Man or Jungle Book or like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything he's done, he's just loved every aspect of it, and he seems like he is very in tune with the world surrounding what he's doing, like Zathra and Elf. Like, Elf, we didn't know the thing with Elf for me that is the most brilliant thing of all, and I remember watching it in the theater being like, son of a gun, is when they're in the North Pole, the interiors are all black and white like Rudolph. It was like, it wasn't just they look like Rudolph, it was like they were black and white interiors like Rudolph. I was like, it's like those, he's like the little fine details that you don't think of. He like that's what it's all about. It's like, and it's the respect and appreciation he has for these properties that he's working. And Elf obviously isn't in the Rudolph. I mean, maybe it is now, but it's not part of the Rudolph. But he was paying homage to that, which is why I really thought he should have got Mickey Rooney to play Santa Claus. But whatever. But like, he just has that appreciation for everything, and he's at Marvel Avenger, whatever it's called, campus there with animatronic Spider-Man and Groot. Disney's gone nuts, man. Like, have you seen these things? These robots that they have that you're like, I think Terminator's happening. I think it's happening sooner than later, and I'm not sure if we're in like original Terminator timeline or if we're in Terminator Dark Fate timeline. But it's happening. Terminator's happening for real.
Not Genesis? No, Brock, that's ridiculous.
Not Genesis, no.
Genesis. Yeah, like, it's true. It's talking about those parks and then what Disney Plus is putting out, you're like, anything is possible. So it's like, yeah, why not? Something from a video game, put it in there. Like, I'm sure most people would be on board, like Cal Kestis sort of something. But it's just like, there's so many things they can do. Like, it's wild. But yeah, I
still have one issue that
What's
I'm
that?
really curious about, and I don't think this year with the Marvel movies is a fair test. But I just, when you offer me all of these shows, are average people going to go see Rogue Squadron in the theater? What is going to be so much better?
Yeah.
So much more appealing about Rogue Squadron that you want to see in the theater. Now, that being said, box office numbers are going up. People want to get out. They want to go to the movies, but Rogue Squadron's not coming out this year. That's why I don't think this year's a fair test, because I think the Marvel movies, people will be like, I think Eternals now, Shang-Chi, I think these movies, maybe even Black Widow, I think these movies now, and Black Widow might actually hit at the perfect time, but they're now, they might not have been, but I think like they're going to be more, they're not going to make as much because of the climate, but they're going to be more event films than they would have been before. They, like, one of them might have done Ant-Man numbers. Now it might do, Iron Man 3 numbers, because of well, not to scale. Let's scale it to scale. It won't actually be that, but you know what I mean. Like they're going. I think some of them are going to do better than they would have pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, because people want to get out there, and now they're like, "This is an event. Let's see what this is all about."
Yeah, it's true. It's like, isn't Quiet Place 2 doing like
Huge
gangbusters? Because it's just like it's like one, people like that movie, but it's just like, it's amazing. It got canceled. It's like, oh, that sucks. It's like it was such a success. Now it's like I'm curious. Like it'll probably do better now because it's released right when movies are opening again in the States. So it's like, yeah, you're right. Like
people want to go out.
This fall winter at theaters will be very, very interesting. But yeah, I think it still should be, if the last year of films and box office are going to have an asterisk, I feel like until cases completely go down and this is more under control, I'm not just talking getting everyone vaccinated, just and herd immunity. It's just like, I feel like it won't be till 2022 where you can truly take that asterisk off of anything,
Yeah, like Fast and Furious has made.
You're making,
Fast and Furious made $200 million in China. Fast 9 apparently, and it beat Godzilla and King Kong by. And that
wait, Fast 9 is out
in China. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want that bootleg, get it now. But Godzilla and King Kong made $188 million. So those are and Godzilla, I don't know how it is in China. They made a lot, but it made a lot. It was the biggest movie in North America until Quiet Place. We say North America, but really it's the States because Canada's not open. But until Quiet Place 2 took it over, and Godzilla is even more impressive because that movie also went straight to HBO Max. So people were like, "I go watch it on HBO Max, but I really want to get out of the house. Let's go watch it." My dad is not
an outdoorsman. He doesn't go camping. He's not a handyman. He doesn't tinker with his car. He's always worked in an office. He's a business guy. He's a talker, right? He likes meeting people. He's on a 2-week fishing trip up north right now.
That's the greatest.
And I'm like, you're doing what? But like, this is what it's so true. What you just said. It's just like people will do anything. Like I think our friend Daryl's dad's fishing right now as well, and like I've heard so many people talking about hunting and fishing. It's like, is this the new banana bread? Where everyone's making bread.
I kind of wish they were. I wish they were doing this last year when they didn't buy all my damn yeast and flour.
So it's like, yeah, it's true. Like I honestly cannot wait to go to a theater. I hope it's by the end of the summer.
Well,
that'd be fantastic.
I'm coming down. We're watching French Dispatch in October.
Yeah, that's right.
We're gonna do a twofer. We're gonna watch Edgar Wright's movie first, and then you're gonna buy one ticket. I'm gonna buy the other one. We're gonna sneak in because that's gonna be a thing. We'll go to the drive-in. I'll bring my truck. We'll sit on lawn chairs in the back, and we'll share a Slurpee.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of time. Like, it's exciting. It's true though. Like Marvel, maybe it's just business mantras. Where like Marvel's all about putting out stuff fast, showing you stuff as it's going along. Star Wars is kind of hush hush. Even with Mandalorian, it was like it wasn't a ton of stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, they did that at Celebration where they didn't show everybody the clip, and you could tell Favreau just wanted to show everybody everything because he's very excited about what he does, which I really get. Like when you do something and you're proud of it, you want to just bring it out there, right? And I think he was like that with the Mandalorian season 1, especially. I think,
but like Andor's been shooting for a while, and I feel like we've seen almost nothing.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll see like people are like, look at this behind the scenes, and you're like, that's a tent.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I kind of like it. Just like
I love it.
Part of the same company, but they do things a little differently. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm good.
Yeah. I'm good with not seeing anything.
We're not going to talk about the Bad Batch today because one, you haven't watched the new episode, and I watched it, but I was half asleep.
I love
So
Moochie. I'm a big Moochie fan. I hope he
like,
he
what
lives
were your
long.
thoughts on last episode? Now, like, isn't that crazy? They're just like they did Jabba without actually doing Jabba, and it's like,
Yeah, they didn't even show him, but they did him. I really I liked it. I loved Moochie. I liked it. But I text you because it felt like an episode of The Mandalorian where they're like, "Yeah, I'll help you, but first you have to help me." I'm like, "Oh, we're doing this one. All right, where are they going to fly to at the end of this episode?"
All the answers you need.
Yeah, just do that. I was like, "Okay, we're doing this again. All right, cool." I liked it. I mean, it was nothing.
No.
It was good though. I did like it. I still feel like if this show was live action, it would be up there for sure as people's favorites. And I keep saying that.
And it's like you can tell there's like a lot of behind the curtain. There's characters pulling stuff. I think in the new episode there's something or like, oh, someone else wants them now. It's like, but we haven't really returned to Crosshair at all.
Yeah, he's just kind of gone. They mentioned him in the last episode because she used his something. But yeah, it was a good episode. It was just an episode though. You know, they was like, this is fun. But I don't know if it needs to be more than that. That's why I'm so confused with my thoughts right now. Yeah. But it was good. And the thing is, it's like, I don't know where the show's going. I don't know what the point of this show is. Because it's called The Bad Batch, like The Mandalorian is The Mandalorian. But I was like, I get it. What's the because it's like, even in The Mandalorian, it was like he has this baby thing and he's trying to figure out what to do with it. Whereas this show, I'm like, I'm not sure what their purpose is. And that's good. Yeah. I guess, I'll find out. But I did like it. What did you think?
Yeah, I was about the same, where it's like, this was fun. But it's just like, where are we going? Like, we haven't seen Imperials for a while, I think. There's no return to Crosshair. They really seems to be pushing this idea that like Crusher has like hit the chip in his head and now he's having like these migraines and it's getting slowly worse.
That wasn't that episode. Was that the episode?
I mean, they build it. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's building more and more to that, but nothing really happening that I can remember. But yeah, you're right. It's right on. It's like, I feel like this will make sense, but we won't get it till we're near the end. And you're like, oh, right.
Or maybe Moochie saves everything. You know what? I'm kind of. I know the thing is, I don't think they're gonna do this, but what I'm kind of rooting for right now, and call me evil if you will, is that we're slowly watching the Bad Batch who avoided the chip, slowly be consumed by the chip, and then at the end of the series they're all just going to be regular clones with the chip killing, and like and you're going to be like, and like you'll see them but it's not them anymore, they're lost in like this chip. That's where I'm hoping it's going. I know that's very pessimistic, but I don't care. And then Omega's like, no, and that's how it ends. I hope Omega's Vader.
You don't know who's under that mask. But like talking about 90s sitcom, that's Rhea Perlman as Sid, the person they go to the alien. I'm like Carla from Cheers. Yeah.
I'm Carla. Cliff! And Cliff is in Empire Strikes Back. So really
she's she's a Trandoshan, right? Like it's hard to tell sometimes. I think so.
Do you think we'll see Frog Lady's species in or is that she's too
I hope so.
Or is she too what's it called? Not extinct, rare, endangered.
Maybe not. I don't know. Like,
just do it.
Yeah.
Because that's something too. Like Frog Lady shows up, be like, well, this is a new alien. It'd be nice to see if you're gonna bring in new aliens, which is always fun. Just pepper them, like sprinkle them in there once in a while, to show us. But I enjoyed this. So I'm looking forward to this week's episode. Here's the thing: it's been very nice out. I don't watch
say this every week.
But I don't really watch things in the summertime. I don't watch TV in the summertime. I am outside in the summertime. I'll watch it at night on the projector, but I'm not watching. But I don't watch. I watch. I'm not a movie guy in the summer. That also being said, I have watched this, other movies for like the 100th time again. I turn on. But I just don't. I don't know. I like to. It's nice out. I want to go outside, go for a walk, have a few laughs.
Come to the coast, have a few laughs.
That's how I feel. That's how I am in the summer. I'm not a big TV guy in the summer. I still haven't seen the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. I probably won't be watching the Loki show because it's the summertime. I'll catch you in the fall when it starts to get cold and miserable out. Or on like a rainy day, when it pours rain tomorrow, whatever, I'll probably sit down and watch it. But
you can watch it on a plane. Oh wait.
I thought about watching it at one point, but like honestly, like maybe if one night I might put it on the outside and watch it outside. Or I almost did bring a TV. I almost brought a TV outside and watched it outside. But Brock, I don't know. When it's nice out, I'm like, I'd rather be outside, just having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. We were stuck inside for however long.
Yeah, so. Exactly. You know, I go outside with the dog, throw a ball around. My dog would not go for a walk with me today. It was 40 degrees out, and we got to the end of the driveway, and she goes, "Hey, take me back home."
Yeah.
So I did, and then I went on my own. I went for a walk on my own, and my neighbor drives by. He's like, well, not really my neighbor. Someone on my street drives by. He goes, yeah, you're missing your dog. And somebody else is like, did you lose your dog? I'm like, oh, my God. Everyone on my street loves my dog. They literally will leave their house to come and pet her, or they will, when they're driving, they will stop the car and either get out of the car or roll down the window to pet her. And I'm like, I'm just trying to walk here, and I have like my time on my watch. So I have to like pause it while they talk to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm just joking. It's nice. She loves the attention. She's a big attention hog. And, but she wasn't there, so I was sweating. I was just like, this is so bad, but I loved it.
Never tell me the odds, James.
Sir, the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
All right, I won't.
Okay. Never tell me the odds, brought to us by our Patreons. If you would like to support us, why don't you head on down to patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast and help us out, because
we're the 227 podcast.
We're the 227. So yeah, you can head over there and support us. We would greatly appreciate it. And once you do, you can become one of the lauded few that we call our Patreons. And they are Heidi Feder, executive producer, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Staniforth, Sooner Thron, Scott D, Josh Price, Matt W.
Sorry, my phone was charging. I lost it. Rez! Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, D. Raven Spencer, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Disney Desi, Charlotte, Kayla Davis, Aaron Quinton, Den of Nerds, and the Girls with Cybers.
Thank you. You people are wonderful.
They're fantastic people. Some of the best people I've ever not met. It would be nice to meet them at Celebration, but not next year, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we're going to cover the crap out of Celebration. It will basically be there without being there. Happy Memorial Day to you. First on, will Camino appear in the Book of Boba Fett? Will Camino appear in the Book of Boba Fett? This is a great odd. I'm glad I thought of it.
I think so. I feel like Book of Boba Fett's going to have some kind of origin stuff that we haven't seen yet. So I don't know if it'll be just in a flashback or something, or maybe he goes there, because it's like we are seeing a lot of Camino in Bad Batch. So it was like, what would it be? It was like, does whatever happens in Bad Batch like affect the Caminoans, and like are they no longer able to do anything? So is it like all their factories are just like sitting empty and all that jazz? So like that'd be kind of cool to see that.
I'm really loving the amount of of Camino and Bad Batch. I think we talked about it like right before Bad Batch started. I was like, I wish we can go back to Camino. I love that stuff.
Mhm.
Maybe we didn't. I made that up. But I really
No, I didn't
love
give an odds. I'm gonna go 75%.
75%.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I would. That's okay. These odds don't mean anything. Like one day we have to we have to get an intern to catalog all of the odds we've done over the last 5 years. Hey, intern, catalog it. I'm gonna go 63%. I would love it. I honestly, I'm going high, but I don't think it's gonna happen. It's just one of those things where you feel like they'll stay away from. But at the same time, I mean, who knows what the show's about? He's obviously taking over for Jabba at some point. Whether that's how the show starts or not, I don't know. But it would be nice if he does know Django though. So, but maybe there's some questions he needs answers on Camino. So I'm gonna go 63%.
Mhm.
And our next thought, another great one that I thought of today. The odds of a second season for the Bad Batch will be there be Bad Batch season 2.
I kind of want there to be because I just enjoy these cartoons. I just like them, but they're fully capable of making a whole new idea. I don't know though. Did they say this is just an exclusive?
Yeah, I think we talked about it
one-off
last
series?
week. I don't think they have though.
I don't know. So I'm gonna go full Brock on this one because anything can happen.
I really like what they're doing, and I like that Moochie is Jabba's Rancor, and I like that they tease these things. I know people are like, "Oh, I wish it wasn't always so connected," but the problem is for me, and I've said this so many times, is I get it, but also when it stops connecting to things, when you ignore the tissue, what makes it Star Wars aside from the title?
Yeah.
And Star Wars is this universe. You can add to it, but when you add to it, you always have to remember. And I think one of the things with the sequel trilogy that drives me nuts is like, where are the freaking aliens that I grew up with? You sprinkle in, you can make the new stuff your main characters all you want, but the old stuff, the familiarity has to be there. And I just love the way they connect to these things. And it really, and now Force Awakens had Akbar, obviously, and not to take away from that, but I'm just saying, like, if these things are all in the same universe, they should feel like the same universe, and things should connect. And we know the players, and if one player we know can do a job that this story needs it to do, use the player we know. We put Saw Gerrera, and they've been using Saw Gerrera beautifully. Rogue One did that perfectly.
Yeah.
And that to me, it doesn't have to be a main. I'm not saying make Han Solo everything, but I think you should tie it in like that. So I'm gonna go for Brock as well.
Yeah.
And I'm changing the odd for you.
I mean, after COVID hit, there was always lots of talk that was like, oh, we're gonna see a lot of animation because that's something that's easier probably to produce because it takes a little bit longer, but it's like you don't need people on set because it's all animated and people can record at home now, so for their voices and all that jazz. So it's like it would be kind of silly not to go, but who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the cartoons too, and I just more content. That's all. But when you have more content, I want quality though, and but quality over quantity. So if it means just these amount of shows that we're getting, I'm okay with that as well. Yeah. And our final odd is different from on your list. This is from Heidi Feder, executive producer Heidi Feder sent this one in. She has a never tell me the odds. What are the odds of Vader appearing in the Bad Batch? Will Darth Vader appear on the Bad Batch? I think she sent this before this week's episode that just dropped. So I'm glad Vader didn't appear this week. Otherwise, this would be embarrassing.
No, because it's just outside of just seeing him for a second, the show is about the Bad Batch, and regardless of how good they are, what they do, it's they're no They can't stand up against Vader, So,
But that's the thing. Does the show end with them not standing up to Vader?
Yeah,
Like,
there's anything is possible. I'm gonna still go 30%.
I'm gonna go full Brock.
Oh,
Only because I agree with what you're saying, but Vader is Vader, and there's no one scarier than Vader, and there's no one, that is associated with Star Wars as much as Vader. And if you throw Vader, I don't know if he'll talk or not, but if you throw Vader in there, the stakes rise, the game changes, and we saw it on Rebels; it was phenomenal. So I don't think they're going to, because they don't want to overuse Vader, and if he has no place in the story, he has no place in the story. But at the same time, there might be a place for him in the story, and it might be he's the one that has to get these clones in line with what they need. You'd think he'd be too busy trying to kill the Jedi, but whatever. He also has to get these clones. So we'll see. I'm very intrigued by what's going on. I'm also intrigued with Omega, I gotta say. Like, will Omega be connected to, like, was Omega's the Empire's first grasp before they got their hands on Grogu, or something like that too. So I don't know. I'm really excited for it.
Wait.
Star Wars. Those are our odds. Let us know what your odds are in the comments down below. And are you ready for the news?
Let's do it.
Hollow news, da 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 da. Hollow news, da 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 da. Hollow da 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 da. Hollow news, and my microphone is off.
Hollow news, the news you need to know right now. A judge could not resist taking jabs at the two latest Star Wars films during a ruling while presiding over the case between ConAgra Foods Incorporated and Wesson Oil. Ninth Circuit Court Judge Kenneth K. Lee referred to The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker as mediocre and schlocky. The case involved whether or not Wesson's Oil's former owner, ConAgra, was responsible for placing a 100% natural label on bottles of Wesson Oil, a reportedly false claim according to WBNS. The judge said, simply put, Richardson, the new owner of Wesson Oil, can resume using the 100% natural label at any time it wishes, thereby depriving the class of any value theoretically afforded by the injunction. ConAgra thus essentially agreed to not do something over which it lacks the power to do. That is like George Lucas promising no more mediocre and schlocky Star Wars sequels shortly after selling the franchise to Disney. Such a promise would be illusory. So slams in law courts about the sequels. And talking about characters that could come back, Kira has made a return in comic book form. Although we have yet to get confirmation about a sequel or spin-off for the Solo film, it hasn't stopped fans from hoping to see it to take on the Star Wars mythos, carry on other media. And just this week, fans got a pretty unexpected extension of that when Solo's Kira, played by Emilia Clarke, made an appearance in Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters #1. The reveal that Kira is still alive during the events of the comics, which occurred during The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, was definitely a pleasant surprise to readers. Even Emilia Clarke herself, I guess she didn't know. So while speaking with the actress about her upcoming Image Comics miniseries MOM Mother of Madness, which publishes its first issue next month, Comic.com asked her about Kira's surprise return in War of the Bounty Hunters. She says, "It means so much. It means the absolute world. I know her backstory. I know her history. Maybe the movie didn't get to go there, but that was such an honor and a privilege to be part of the universe as an actor. So then to see the character actually be taken on to the origin of it all, bringing it on home, the family in that way, cemented it in a way." Whoops. I was not expecting to feel as moved as was by that. For those of you that haven't read War of the Bounty Hunters #1, it was revealed that Kira is still directly tied to the crime syndicate Crimson Dawn, which she develops an alliance with across the events of Solo. More than a decade after the events of the film, it's clear that she's still a pivotal player in the organization, and also that she still has a connection to Han Solo, who she grew up alongside on the streets of Corellia. So yeah, there you go. If you want to find out more, why don't you go get that copy right now? Because it just came out, and boom, this has been your Hollow News.
I read that Judge story earlier this week too. All right.
Is it time?
It's
Top
time.
5.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5 characters who appeared in Rogue One that we would like to see appear in Andor. Really hard. Really hard.
I'm going to spoil this for you, James. The more rebellion characters we can get that we've seen in the background of that movie is like, yeah.
I'm going to tell you a story. K2SO, not on my list.
Oh, yeah, well.
I feel like he's a given, and I don't care. Okay? I do not care. Because my number 5 is Tivik. Who's Tivik, you ask? The guy that he shoots in the back at the beginning of the movie. Shabam! You dead! How does he know Tivik? I don't know. Maybe he's an informant. We're going to find out on the Cassian Andor show. Tivik's back, baby.
Boom. I'm going to put Biston, Space Monkey, because it was just like, we were so excited about him in that trailer, and nothing hardly happens with him in the movie. So he's just like, let's see more.
Yeah, if Biston's not on the show, this show's a failure. You hear me, KK? And Biston will be played by Brie Larson. My number 4, I didn't have to look at my list for this one. My number 4, check it out. Blue Leader Anton Merrick. Bam.
Yep.
Blue Leader.
Yep.
Got to be in it.
Absolutely.
Also known as Blue One. Has to be in it. If he is not in it, again, big failure.
That's mine too. There you go.
My number 3 doesn't even make sense. Doesn't have to. Two Tubes. Two Tubes needs to be in everything that you've done since. He hasn't appeared since Solo, even though it was just Tubes, his brother, or whatever. We need it. And he also, his brother's name was what, Ethrol or something? We need Edrin, Two Tubes in Andor. Doesn't make sense because he's with Saw's cronies, but I don't care. Star Wars doesn't make sense. Lightsabers are, I guess they're real now, but they weren't for a while. Two Tubes.
I'm going to throw in a main cast character. I think I'm going to go with Bodhi Rook.
Doesn't make sense either. I love it.
It really doesn't make sense because he's kind of like he's like a big part of the plot in the other one. Like it's so like, it'd be kind of cool to like, that's you're in on the Empire because maybe we'll see stuff from the Empire point of view as well. I don't know. So.
And Riz Ahmed's like, yo, I'm an Oscar nominated actor. I have no time for it. But a Brody Rook prequel about kind of how he kind of sees how things are happening. That I would watch a limited series on that. My number 2, you said him earlier, Biston. He's a space monkey. He's Biston. He goes, ah! And he died, like you said. There's more to explore with Biston. I want to see it. Cassian Andor, change the name to Biston.
My number 2 is going to be Bail Organa because, like, we always mention him. So
I don't have Bail in mind. You know, I'm a huge Bail Organa fan as well.
Oh,
He has to be in it. Him and K2SO, they're not going to be it, but they're guaranteed. Well, he's not going to be it, but he's guaranteed. My number 1 is the greatest character to be on that kind of doesn't do anything, and you wish he was in more. His name is Pow.
Yep. That's what I figured.
Yeah, giant mouth Pow. He has to be number 1. He has to be in the show. He really cool looking. I have the Biston Funko Pop. I'm very disappointed that there was no Pow Funko Pop. Very little Pow anything, no figures or anything. Very disappointed. He's in the movie more than Biston. So I want to see and learn more about. I don't care about learning more about Pow. I just want to see more Pow.
My number 1 is going to be Saw Gerrera because, like, we put him in everything else.
Forget who I am.
Yeah.
Win the war.
And maybe it's like he's not quite crazy just yet. So maybe he doesn't have crazy hair just yet. So like
we don't know how far before. Maybe
we don't. So.
Maybe Andor meets him on Geonosis.
I just really like that we're gonna see like early rebellion and then his like what is his group called? They're like
what are
they're like it's not like their name per se, but they're like extremists, right? Like it's so like I like that idea. It's to have all these like groups of
partisans,
thoughts,
which is actually a tier of our Patreon.
Oh, nice.
Should have known that.
So, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Andor because I don't know what to expect. So it's like, so yeah, that has been top 5.
That was a great top 5. Top 5 terrible Star Wars movies, according to that judge. The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. There's such a weird comment to me. Like, he was holding a grudge. Like, he just watched them the weekend before. He's like, oh, those sucked.
My son made me watch them for the upteenth time.
And I very much enjoyed The Force Awakens. But right after that, I was like, These went downhill fast. And there's word that Boyega's down for coming back as Finn or something like that. If people come back, and I don't know. I think Star Wars is in a weird spot. We'll end it on this, I guess. But Star Wars is in a weird spot where they were, let's go forward in time, which made complete sense. I loved it. And then now they're like, nah, we're gonna go back to just after the original trilogy. And then when that was hit, they're like, well, we'll also go back to like the middle of the prequels, or like the middle of the end of the prequels. And you're like, what the hell is going on here? It's in a weird spot right now where it's not like Marvel where they can just do whatever, where they can go around and do stuff. It's a different beast, and I'm intrigued by what's to come.
Yeah, like it's the future is bright. It's just like,
we say that a lot.
It's just a matter of waiting game at this point, right? Because like we're 6 months away from Book of Boba Fett. 6 months went fast.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Brock, check the board. Kathleen Kennedy was just fired. Bam, bam.
So.
There you go. Kathleen Kennedy fired. All right, episode 220 of the Rebel Scum podcast. He's Brock. I'm James. Anything else you want to say today, Brock?
No, not really. Watch Bad Batch.
I can't wait. I'm going to watch it. You know what? I'm going to watch it. Not tonight, but I'm going to watch it for sure. All right. We'll talk to you all next week on the Rebel Scum podcast. He's Brock. I'm James. And he was always Scum.
Rebel Scum.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.